they were cutting their calories by 1,000 calories to try and like lose the weight. And then he would just like binge because he just couldn't sustain that. His body was just craving so much. I want to get this done like right now. I want it tomorrow. I want it yesterday, if anything. Like, I want to lose 40 pounds, and I want to lose 40 pounds 5 years ago. So I'm going to cut 1,000 calories a day, and I'm going to get there in 6 weeks or whatever. We're very much like wired to have these desires and to seek pleasure, and we get a lot of pleasure from success.
Right, a little interruption before we get into today's episode. So I run these shows ad-free. We will never take on sponsors because everything is self-funded through our Fit Vegan coaching program. So if you enjoy these shows, the best way to support is obviously to subscribe to the channel. But also, if you know anyone over the age of 50 that is looking to improve their body composition, combat sarcopenia, combat osteoporosis, get healthier on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle, to simply send them our way at fitvegancoaching.com, because we are the best in the world in helping people over 50 transform. We have over 1,000 transformation in 20 different countries. So simply send them our way. In addition to that, a percentage of our profit monthly goes towards supporting cancer patients with their treatments and bills and whatever they may need to support themselves and their family. So you're also supporting additional people outside of the work that we'd be doing in the program. That is all I have for you today. So enjoy the episode. So actually, before we dive into today's episode, I just want to quickly announce we are doing our only Fit Vegan workshop of 2025, which is going to take place on September 20th to 21st in Vancouver, BC. It's going to be an awesome time. To the event, we're going to bring you through multiple workouts. You'll get to have some hands-on coaching with our staff of Fit Vegan coaches. You'll get to connect with other like-minded individuals. You'll be able to eat Fit Vegan approved food. That's going to be whole food, plant-based, higher in protein. It's going to be an absolute blast. So if you want some more information on that, I invite you to check out the link down below in the description. We can only take on 30 members, 30 clients for the workshop. So if you are a Fit Vegan member, you do get a saving on the workshop. Just check the Fit Vegan app. If you're an alumni member as well, just reach out to us. We'll be able to give you the code so that you can save some funds. If you are a member, you want to bring a friend, you'll also be able to get a saving for your friends. And if you're from the public, the workshop is pretty cheap for everything that's going to be included in it as well. So you might as well join and come and join us and have an awesome time. And if you've been wanting to work with our Fit Vegan coaching program, might as well join and get the discount on the workshop. Again, spots are limited at a time of this recording. We only have about 15 spots left for the workshop because I announced it to our members first. So head down below to the link, check it out, and look forward to seeing you in Vancouver in person. All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Vegan podcast. Today, I'm joined by a special guest. We got Coach Nick in the house. How you doing, man?
Here we go. Oh, man. So good. So good. It's a sunny day, so life is good.
Beautiful. Yeah, man. You look like a real trainer. You got your squat rack behind you. You got the bikes on the wall.
Yeah,
I can tell you do fitness.
Every day. Every day, except recovery days.
Exactly. We skip recovery days and stretching.
Yeah. I got the foam roller there. I got my recovery boots right here as well.
Oh, did you get some boots?
Oh yeah, I got the boot.
Oh, nice.
They're critical, man. They're so good. Like,
yeah, the normal tech boots, like the compression boots, 1 hour every day, post workout, game changer.
Yeah. I love it. I get like 2 sessions a day usually, and like 20 to 30 minutes each. It makes the next workout so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So for today, again, this is a new style of episode for the people listening. Every month, I'm going to be interviewing our Fit Vegan coaches so you guys can get to know them more and see how awesome they are. Because once you come into our program, you get to work with an incredible team of coaches. But also, I want Nick to share some knowledge because Nick is an incredible athlete, incredible coach, and you're going to be able to take a lot of value out of what he's sharing today. So, Nick, let's just talk about, you've been with us for almost a year now. Like we're nearing on a year. Actually, it's probably been a year you've been with us.
More than a year, but like it was like a soft rollout of like a year and a half-ish because I was doing some coaching for a couple athletes who wanted to do some endurance stuff. Yeah. And then the strength side, I think, was like June is when I officially came on last year.
Oh, so over a year.
Coaching for strength. Yeah, just over.
Hey, awesome. Well, happy Fit Vegan 1 year anniversary.
Anniversary, baby. Let's go.
It's been a busy few months with travels and concussion and everything. So this is my first recording of the podcast since I'm back. So bear with me if I say something stupid.
Yeah. Always. Not your judge.
But yeah, man, let's talk about some of the clients that you had the pleasure of, of working with. One of your episodes with Phil already went live on the show, so people got to hear how you coach him and his transformation. But let's talk about some of the wins that you've seen from some of your clients so far.
Oh my God. Well, you had an interview with Amy as well. And
Yes, yeah, when she came to LA.
yeah, and you had like a nice like video recording session with her, and like she's awesome. She's an absolute rock star. Still working with her, but on like just on strength
Yeah,
maintenance right now, because she achieved and exceeded her weight management goals and her fitness transformation, which has been great. She's amazing. And then I've got Mike Henry, who's
yeah,
oh my God, he's so good. He's so much fun. He came into the program fit, like he has a background in like sport and fitness, but being on like a plant-based diet and trying to like improve lean muscle mass is tough for a lot of people, and figuring out how to navigate some of the like information out there and just like working through that space. He's going to be coming up next on one of my interviews with athletes. So he's
another
been great as
vegan
well.
success story.
Exactly. Yeah. He's had some amazing results, and he's, yeah, absolutely stoked on his life. And then you've also had Gary and Linda, some videos
Yeah,
with them as well. They've been featured in some videos. Again, amazing. The two of them both, like, yeah, Linda and her weight loss and continuing her weight loss journey right now, and Gary in
looking
improving
jacked.
like all of his health metrics, and yeah, just getting so much lean muscle built on his frame. Like, yeah, those are a few that, I mean, that, yeah, it's so great. I've probably gone, what I have, I don't even know how many right now, but probably like almost 80 to 100 that I've worked with in the past year, probably.
Yeah,
Pretty accurate.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so a lot of great transformation that we had on the podcast and workout videos with. You brought up Mike in terms of like building muscle. So this is, obviously we talk about body recomposition a lot in the program and a lot of the podcasts, but a question we've been getting more often of people that are, considering working with us is like, hey, I don't really need to like lose weight. I just want to put on some muscle. So
Right.
do you want to share a little bit with people, how you went about doing that with Mike, who was already fit? And obviously that's going to apply to someone that's potentially, kind of just beginning, because they'll get those little beginner gains that you get when you start lifting for the first time.
Yeah, totally. And I guess we did like, we still did like a body recomp initially. And like when we do the interview with Mike, like we'll get more into that story as well, but I'll skip forward to sort of the lean muscle building sort of component, where we then actually move into different styles of training, where instead of trying to mobilize and metabolize fat tissue, we're trying to like stimulate the body to grow muscle tissue. And to do that, you need to have enough energy for your body to feel like safe and secure and in providing and allocating resources towards muscle growth. So typically you're consuming slightly more than what your like baseline metabolism would be, which is very different from like a weight loss component. And the style of training that you're doing as well, when you're doing hypertrophy training, which is the growing of muscles, is also different in terms of like we're hitting different numbers of repetitions, we're hitting different numbers of sets, and the total training volume that we're doing is greater than what we do in like a weight loss sort of journey or transformation. But yeah, those are just some of the levers that we pull, and like how much nutrition is coming in, how much protein are we taking in, number of reps, number of sets, the duration of the mesocycle and the microcycle. So microcycle being a week and a mesocycle being a block of weeks. We play with the different duration of those mesocycles to optimize the muscle growth hypertrophy.
So for the people that are newer to those concepts, why is that important?
Yeah. So the ways that you're stimulating these changes can sometimes take a longer amount of time. So when you're trying to get your body to like use excess tissue, really all that you need is a deficit and a reason for your body to use that. So doing regular physical fitness or being in a steep enough deficit, like a low enough deficit, those two things will combined like get your body to metabolize and use the excess tissue that it has available to it. Whereas when you're trying to stimulate your body to grow, the thresholds to get your body to produce more muscle is more difficult, because your body is going to become less efficient at using the energy. That your body always wants to be efficient. Like
Yeah.
It doesn't really want to put on muscle unless it needs it. So you have to really make sure you're working against these like biorhythms. Your body just wants to be super efficient. It wants to take in the nutrients that it needs to survive always and like store excess as tissue so that it can survive longer. Whereas when we're trying to develop muscle, we're encouraging it to say, hey, you have this extra energy. Instead of storing it for later use, I want you to use it to build muscle. And that's an uphill battle. Like your body doesn't want to do that.
Yeah. And that's why basically the process of building muscle is longer than the one of losing fat.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. It takes longer and the thresholds for intensity are greater as well.
Yeah. But the difference in strength is pretty significant. You know, when you're strength training in a calorie deficit and you're like towards the end of your body recomp phase versus when you go to a slight surplus, you're like, oh my God, I feel like Superman or Superwoman. It's a massive difference.
Oh my God. Recovering from a workout when you're in a deficit is rough. Like that always sucks. Yeah. I don't know if anyone listening has ever like spoken to or even participated in like some sort of like combat sport or something where they have to be in like a deficit or cut weight or like bodybuilding or something. It's not a great space to be.
No.
I've done like small cuts in weight, like not significant. Like I'm 2 to 3 pounds to get ready for a race. And like, that sucks. Like you just feel lethargic and you feel like garbage and you have to do a workout and so you're just working against yourself, but you have to get it done. And that's what a deficit feels like for a long term when you're doing weight loss. But then you get into this like caloric excess and yeah, you feel like a superhuman. It's great.
Yeah, and it's a controlled caloric excess. Just so people
Exactly.
understand, we're not going like, yeah, just eat as much as you want as long as, you know, it's over. And that's how you do a dirty bulk. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we're not dirty bulking here. We're lean bulking.
Yeah, dirty bulk. I used to do those back in the day. I think I told you just the whole diet. Eat a whole cake, a whole pizza, a whole pint of ice cream.
Yeah. Whole foods, baby.
Yeah.
The bodybuilder's whole food diet.
Yeah, it was, you feel terrible, right?
Yeah.
You feel like crap, but you get big quick, but you get fat too.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to do a cut after that and you're just like yo-yoing and yeah, that's a difficult space to be as well.
Yeah, it's so much more fun, I think, long-term and less effort to do a lean muscle building. Because you don't really have to do as massive of a cut at the end, depending on how you do.
Totally. And it's the cut that always sucks. Like doing dirty bulk itself is easy. Like
You
just eat more and lift heavier and you're like, whoa, this is no problem. And then like when you have to cut down, like, oh man, yeah, that's where I can only imagine. Because I haven't done like a dirty bulk or anything like that. Like I have my like off season where I'm not training. I'm like, I can do whatever I want, kind of, but it's still within limits.
Yeah.
But it's easy to eat more, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. When you're off season from racing, you're like, I'm starting to get fluffy. I'll just tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I do my whole diet, I'm like, oh, I can eat a whole pizza, Ogie vegan pizza. Great. Like, all right. That's a slippery slope.
Yeah. I remember you live in Victoria. So it was, there's a nice vegan pizza place.
There's a couple. We have a couple. Yeah. I actually have a gift card on my desk right here that I got from a client that I need to go use at some point, but it's not pizza season right now. I can't use it.
It's not pizza season. Okay. It is summertime. You got to be light for your races.
Yeah, exactly. I still have a couple more months.
So just for the people that potentially didn't listen to some of your other episodes, you want to share a little bit of your background, like what you studied in and what you compete in, because you mentioned racing a few times.
Sure. Yeah. So I primarily do triathlons. I guess I would identify as a triathlete, plant-based triathlete, of which I guess I've also been plant-based for like just over 15 years now, like 16 years now, I guess, when I was 19. Shout out to my boy, Brendan Brazier, for the old Thrive book. I've been on this like fitness journey. When I turned 18, I started doing endurance sport to like lose weight and manage my own health. Went vegetarian and went vegan, all that good stuff. Went to school, I dropped out of my first undergrad, which was in organic chemistry and biotechnology, which actually I don't think I've told you this before, but I dropped out of that because I failed statistics twice. Okay. And math is not my strong suit, which is why I'm a trainer, obviously. And so, dropped out of that, had to redo statistics in my second undergrad, but by that time, it was my third time through, so I got through it.
Yeah.
My second undergrad was in sport and fitness leadership with a specialization in exercise and wellness. So basically just helping people commit to like a fitness transformations, which is great. Did a couple years of working after that, working with some like small teams, like local teams, for cycling and swimming. Worked with like a national development team for swimming, and actually super cool. This is also super recent, and I'm so excited about is the cycling team that I was working with. Two of the kids that I was working with this year are in cycling pro tours. One of them, she was just in the women's Giro, and the other one was in the men's Giro, which is so cool. So like these kids are in their like early 20s now, and they're pro cyclists. And looking at them go, they're from Victoria, just like, oh my God,
yeah,
I helped a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I did my master's degree in kinesiology with a focus on sport and performance psychology. So why we do what we do is really all I was looking at, and what various like motivational factors keep us active and engaged with our pursuits, and yeah, how we like live and grow, and why we want to live and grow. And that's basically, I guess, racing background. I've done lots of triathlons, ranging from like short distance, like running, all the way up to like long distance triathlon, Ironman. Both of my Ironmans had incomplete events because of swim cancellations, but that's just the way that the climate is being affected right now, is that it's a lot more volatile, and so swims are getting canceled more frequently. So I'm a 2-time Ironman finisher, but did I really finish an Ironman? Who knows? And then several 70.3s. I don't know if it'll be cut out in the frame here, but I got like my two age group trophies from 70.3, and I have one trophy from ITU, International Triathlon Union, age group races as well, from World Triathlon World Championships. And yeah, so relatively successful in the age group / amateur arena, though never a professional, which is a very different game, much slower than.
Yeah, but to me, you're real fast because, and also just to give context for people, when I got into triathlon, that's when we got in touch. That's when we first met. I was like over like almost 9-10 years ago at this point. Like it's a while back.
I think, dude, wasn't it like 2015 or something? Like,
yeah, it's about 10 years ago. Yeah, because I was 22, about to turn 23, I think, when the whole during that time, the whole cancer story. So Nick coached me through all my triathlon and half Ironman races and got me ready for all of them. So I've known Nick for a really long time before he came on board, but I've trained with Nick. And on the bike, when we started training, Nick was being really casual, and I was dying behind. I was cycling hard, and I was trying to keep up with him. And I get to him, he's not even sweating, not even breathing heavy, and he was like 40 kilometers an hour or something. It was so quick.
Yeah. Oh my God, so good. Was that when we were up in Whistler? Is that the one you're remembering, or the one here in Victoria?
I think it was the first time when I came to Victoria.
Okay, yeah, the first time you came to Vic. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like new to the sport, but still, even when we got to Whistler and I was getting ready for that other race, like Nick is a freak of an athlete. He's a really great athlete. He's being really humble, but he's fast.
I mean,
except in the water,
have like different metrics. Different.
I got the swim, but Nick beat me on everything else.
Me for her.
Yeah, I think I just got lucky because I didn't know I was good at swimming. That was the only thing that I got surprised by when I was doing all of this.
Man, and you're still good at swimming. You started swimming briefly last year for a hot minute, and you were just like right back into it, and you were all like right back into it. You were faster than water after like 8 years of not swimming.
Yeah, I don't know. God gave me paddles for hands and feet. I think that's all I got to say.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
I got blessed for that sport.
Totally. And yet you chose basketball.
Got blessed for basketball too, even though I'm short compared to most basketball players nowadays. I used to be tall when I was younger, but now I'm the shortest guy on the court.
We did do some sweet work on your jump though. That was fun.
Yeah, we did.
We were doing that last fall, winter, working on your vert.
Yeah. When I wanted to learn how to dunk, Nick did all my training to help me be able to dunk, and I was able to dunk at that point. And that's what kind of led me to progress. And it's a little bit of your fault that I decided to go to try and get a pro
I
contract, but then
know.
you got me
Yeah.
back into it. You made me good. And I was like, oh, I got to do this thing now.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm partially responsible for that concussion.
Yeah. Hey,
And
I'll
that,
take
that
full
burden
ownership for
sits with
that
me.
one.
Yeah.
So you mentioned sports psychology of like why we do what we do.
Mhm.
I think it's like there's a perfect connection with, helping our members improve their body composition, because you and I know that, the training's important, nutrition is important, but you have the best plan in the world. If you don't stick to it, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
So how has what are the tools that you've learned and that you're using to help your members understand what they need to do to like be successful in their transformation? Because I feel if people come to us to a certain extent, they're struggling with potentially food or fitness, or potentially being compliant with both of them. So what are some of the tools that you've seen to be very helpful to get people to do what they need to do?
Yeah. And I think it's like really there's just like two like major components that like I talk to people when they start up and when they start working with that with me personally. And that's sort of like so process and outcome goals and then why. And so most people when they come to us in my experience at least, like by the time they get to me, like they usually have an outcome goal. They have something that they want to see happen in terms of how they look or how their body moves, like something that is like a metric external outcome. So I want to lose 10 pounds, right? Outcome goal. And those are great. Like, I think it's great to like have those goals. And it's very important because it's sort of like your North Star. So your guiding star, like it gives you like a good direction. But what lots of people like miss out on and what becomes like really critical when it gets difficult, especially, are things like process goals, which is sort of like stepping stones in order to get to that outcome goal, where it's like, okay, maybe you want to lose 10 pounds in the next like 6 months. That's great. There's a lot of things that have to happen in terms of like dedication and diligence and the level of intensity that you have to work at. And life gets thrown at you that whole time, right? There's things that happen in life that we can't control. Having process goals along the way can really help. Something like a process goal would be like committing to completing 4 workouts a week, right? And if you do 4 workouts a week for this next month and you check all those boxes and you've been doing the work, maybe you don't see the same kind of outcome that you want to see. Like you don't even see like any difference in weight in that first month. That can be, if you just have that outcome goal, that can be like really demoralizing. Whereas if you have something like a process goal where you're looking at the work that you're doing and making sure that the work that you're doing is aligned with your North Star, you hit those 4 workouts a week for the first month, you can still feel good even if you didn't lose any weight, because maybe you put on muscle, maybe there were just like things that happened in your life, you were stressed, whatever. And maybe 3 months down the line, that's where you start seeing that significant weight loss. But in those first like 1 to 3 months, that timeline is so critical to have those like small successes that you can rely on, because it's demoralizing if you're not seeing success. That's just the way it is. Like we're wired for that. We're wired to like get those dopamine hits when we see success. And if we don't frame our journey in a way that allows us to see that success, it can be really difficult. But that's the first one. I don't know if you want to reflect on that from your end first.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because it's like saying like, I want to make $1 million in one go, and you work really hard for something and it doesn't happen. If that big thing doesn't happen in one go, then people feel defeated and they're like, well, what's the point? I've been putting all of this effort. But we understand that big goals take a long time. And, you've seen this with some of your clients too. Like even if the weight on the scale doesn't move, the body composition is still shifting, right? Because again, you're building muscle, you're losing fat. So you could pretty much be the same number on the scale, but look completely different. And if for sure it's I think people have attachment to like bigger goals happening in one instant, but also the goal not being quantified in the right way. Right? It's like minus 20 pounds. But it's like, hey, maybe we're minus 12 pounds, but we look phenomenal. Like you look better than the way you thought you would look at minus 20 pounds.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. And it's so interesting too, like obviously like living the world that we do in terms of like social media, and like we're always seeing like even like with us with Fit Vegan, like we have like images of like people who started with us and when they finish with us, and like we say how long it took, and like that's great. As like a viewer, like someone can see that and be like, oh, I want that for myself, and they immediately think that it's like a linear progression, and like you will see like the noticeable changes as you go, but it's not necessarily linear. Like it can be like static, and then like an exponential improvement right away, or like things aren't like going well, you're like super stressed, like work is crazy, and then suddenly you see that significant shift, and it's never this like static linear. So it's very easy when we see these like images or stories or our favorite like influencers or whatever, or like celebrities, and we see the changes that they're making, and they're like, oh, I did this one thing and like whatever, now I'm like this. Our brains just like collapse that time horizon to be like, oh, if I'm not seeing this success right away, I'm failing. So we then drop out and not feel successful and not feel validated.
Yeah. And that's why we do the Fit Vegan success story episodes, like the one you did with Mike too, is we get to uncover the behind the scenes of the journey. Because hey, it would be phenomenal to just have a camera crew document the whole thing for each client. It's not feasible and want to respect people's privacy. But that's why we do the podcast, because then people can see like, yeah, this wasn't a perfect journey. Like there's never anyone that was like, yeah, I did 100% of all the workouts. I never went off track with my nutrition. I was not stressed the whole time. Life was so smooth for the whole 8 months or a year, or whatever. That's why like the photos are there, but that's why I'm trying to make sure to get a podcast in so people can be like, oh, it's a normal person. Life did happen to them.
Yeah.
I say to people, it's like the stock market. It's, it'll do its thing. Sometimes you can be very compliant and the body's not going to respond the way that you want to. But when the graph is going the opposite direction that you want to, it's the worst time to sell. Hold. Just last a long game. It'll even out in the long run. It's the worst time to do something or quit or bail out when it's going the opposite direction. Because even if you're compliant, like, same for you. Sometimes you're just training really hard on the bike. You're training for your races. And it's not always linear progression. Like, I'm not getting faster or whatever. And then you have a good night of sleep one night. The next morning, you're like, oh, damn, I'm faster. I'm stronger. I swim better.
Totally. And that's what like racing is too. Like, that's why like athletes periodize their training. Like they go through like highs and lows where you're never hitting a PB in the middle of a season, or sometimes you do, but like, that's not the ideal. You want to hit the PB at the very end. So you want to prepare your body for the moment where you want to see that success. And like, it's very similar, like you're periodizing. Periodizing is just increasing and decreasing the intensity to allow for moments of like recovery and rest. So your body can actually like make the changes that it needs to see success. So you're periodizing your training in such a way that you see this success at certain time points. When we talk about like body recompositions, like gaining weight, losing weight, whatever it is, like gaining muscle or losing weight, you change and manipulate the like periodization of these programs in order to elicit changes down the road. You're never looking at trying to change your body for tomorrow or next week even. You're not looking at changes over the course of a week. You're looking at changes over the course of like a longer time horizon than that.
Yeah. Before we continue on like what gets people to do what to do, like there's one point about periodization and allowing for those times of rest. It made me think of, I think when we first started, you maybe do a lot of zone 2 running.
Oh, yes.
Which for people that do run or train for endurance, it's just a really slow, you have to keep your heart rate below a certain number, and you can't run really fast at the beginning and stay, like, you're going to run slow to stay under that heart rate. And then you're running. Sometimes you walk. I had to walk up a hill because it would get my heart rate too high when I started. I was running on the seawall in Vancouver, and then I'd see people that were not as fit as me and just kind of passing by me. And my head was like, oh, I'm so much faster than this. I should sprint right now. But there's a method to the madness. And I think when people are trying to lose weight, they're like, I'm just going to sprint as hard as I can, just trying to get there as fast as I can. But there's a reason why you're quote unquote not sprinting, because you're building, your VO2, your cardiovascular capacity, or you're working on something else so that down the line you get to the place where you want to. But I think as humans, we see people go by and they're like, I got to keep up with everyone. Let me just sprint. Let me train harder. Let me do more. Let me cut more food. And then just end up being burnt out. When you can stay in your own lane, you get to the end, you're like, I feel phenomenal and I look great. And everyone gets there and they're like, I feel burnt out, and it just, go back and progress at that point.
No,
or get injured.
exactly. Yeah. And I just had like a really great conversation with like a client who's just starting up this week. I guess we had a call a couple days ago now, but in like the similar vein, they had been doing their own like weight management, and they were cutting their calories by 1,000 calories to try and like lose the weight, which is, yeah, pretty significant. That's a big cut. And his experience had been he would achieve that caloric intake for like a few days, and then he would just like binge because he just couldn't sustain that. His body was just craving so much. And like that just makes so much sense. The way that you need to scale that in order to make it sustainable is very different than in order to lose. Like if you're a bodybuilder and you need to lose 3 pounds over the next like 10 days for competition. Yeah, of course, sure. Drop like 700 calories deficit because you're just going to suffer for 7 days and you're used, like, that's just part of the game. But if you're trying
and
to
they
create
prep
like
better
long-term,
bodybuilders too.
totally.
Like
Yeah.
they
They're
prep
also,
like 12, 20 weeks ahead.
yeah, exactly. But if you're just like a normal person and you're like, I need to lose this weight, dropping 1,000 calories, dropping 600 calories, even like below what your body needs to sustain itself is more than likely going to put you in this state where you're now like craving, and that can become like real. That's an uphill battle. Like talk about a Sisyphean process. Like you were pushing that boulder up that hill, and it is a big boulder. So it's tough.
Yeah. It is, because I used to do that way back in the day. It is appealing because like, whoa, the number on the scale is dropping.
Yeah.
But like,
it drops
there's
over
less
a few days.
Yeah, there's less glycogen, there's less water retention. At first, a lot of it is from that. It's not even fat, but because they think that it will continue like that. But eventually, like you said, your body just wants to be kind of in that neutral state. Eventually, it just bottoms out and you just kind of stabilize, and you have to cut even more food.
Yeah.
What do you do after you remove 1,000 calories? You're starving already.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so if you periodize that too, like you periodize your nutrition, far more sustainable. Your body doesn't go into this like crazy like starvation mode, and you can see far more tangible result over a longer time horizon, but they'll be far more real results. They'll be they won't be as like ephemeral.
Let's talk about patience real quick. I'm still keeping track of like the to-do of like to get people to do a to-do, but I feel that, and I'll refer, like we're athletes. I think I would put us both in that category. That's pretty fair. As I've gotten older as an athlete, I am more patient with goals. Because you start, you're like, all right, I'm gonna race this Ironman or this half Ironman, and I'm gonna finish top 10. And I'm pretty confident when I came to you, I was like, I'm gonna run this time. You're like, whoa, young buck, this is your first race. You're probably gonna be a lot slower than this. But when people come in, they want results as fast as possible. But it's like, what are you rushing towards? And I feel like I've been training as an athlete for 12 years now. No, more than that, actually. I was like, I've been training for over 20 years at this point. For sure, I've been training for 20 years. I've gotten more patient. I'm like, all right, cool. I have this goal. Realistically, it's going to take me a year plus. Like I know that I'm not going to be like, hey, in 12 weeks, all my problems will be solved and I'll have reached this goal, unless it's a really, really small one. But I feel like a lot of people aren't being patient. And I don't know, maybe it just comes with time. I don't know how to induce more patience in people.
No, yeah, I think so much of it is just like experience as well, right? And like really recognizing, like if you've never done that kind of work, like you don't know what you don't know. If you've never had like a significant bout of like 6 months of like trying to improve your 5K time or trying to lose weight or whatever the metric is, if you haven't done that, you really have no context, and you just see what other people can do. And you're like, well, if they can do it, like obviously I can't. And you definitely can, but the time horizon is probably not what you anticipate it to be. And we always just want to like push to like, I want to get this done like right now. I want it tomorrow. I want it yesterday. If anything, like I want to lose 40 pounds, and I want to lose 40 pounds 5 years ago. So I'm going to cut 1,000 calories a day, and I'm going to get there in 6 weeks or whatever. And that's such like a tricky space to be, because we're very much like wired to like have these desires and to seek pleasure, and we get a lot of pleasure from success, and so it's very easy to like chase that. Like chase those goals, get obsessive to a fault. Like I do the same thing still. Like I'll still like pick like audacious goals, and I'll get like caught up in the moment and be like, oh, like I want to do like I do this like workout that I did for a month straight, and I was going to do it for 3 months, but I did it for a month and I was like, I'm over it. But it's this anime that I watch called One Punch Man.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, exactly. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day.
Yeah.
Did it for a month, and I was like, I want to do this for like all of the winter. And I like did like a month of it. And I was like, I'm over this. I can't do it.
You need diversity in your training. It is,
Yeah. But yeah, we like find things that we want to do, and we get like overcommitted. And even though I know it was like too much for me to take on, I wanted it, and so I went for it, but I failed.
I think there's an element of people looking at, like, if you see someone that lost 20 pounds, people will grab the person that did it the fastest and be like, that's a realistic timeline, right? There's always going to be outliers in doing some of those things. So I think, if you're okay to stretch out the timeline, you always end up getting to where you want to. I would say like 99% of the time. If you're okay with stretching the timeline, it makes such a world of a difference, right? For example, the workout you're talking, instead of being like, I'm gonna do this every day for 3 months, if you're like, I'm gonna do this like once a week for a year, you probably
so much easier.
Yeah, you could have been compliant with it, right? So it's just it's just playing with the timeline, like the telling Ivy, I was like, I'm trying to get a pro basketball contract in the next 4 months. I went to my first camp, and then I understood the game. I was like, oh, this is just like business. Ivy, it'll take me at least a year.
Yeah.
Right. So we extended the timeline, because when you, like you said, when you don't understand the game, it's hard to set expectations in a proper timeline. And if all you're referring to is what you saw on Instagram of like, in 12 weeks, you will drop 30 pounds and your life problems will be resolved and you won't have an issue ever. You don't learn in 12 weeks.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Nothing.
And like, we both had these like goals that we were like, oh yeah, like I can do that, no problem. But like, we both know that like goal setting and goal structure is more complicated than that, and we still fall into this trap. We're like, well, yeah,
we're human.
Like, yeah, exactly. So yeah, no matter like how much experience you have, you still don't have enough.
Yeah, but you just get better at catching it, and I think you get a bit more realistic. Like, when you do your first half Ironman, you're like, I'm gonna do it in this time, and then you race it, and you're like an hour and a half slower. And you're like, wow, I literally sprinted the whole time and I was an hour and a half slower.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to shave that off in 1 year.
Yeah. Maybe I'll cut 20 minutes in a year. Like,
you start to get, I think once you do the thing, you're like, all right, cool. Let's just calm down. Let's be realistic with this.
Exactly.
Let's make this more fun.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah. And I mean, it also, like, all of this also trails into like the second component, which is like the why. And that really helps sort of contextualize the scale, or like the duration, the goal as well, is like, so why do you actually want to like accomplish this goal? Like, what does it really deeply mean to you? Like, I'll use the example that I had with the client this week, and his goal was, he has granddaughter, and he wants to, he had kids later in his life, and his kids had kids later in their lives. So he's a bit older. And so he wants to be healthy and able to like interact with his granddaughter when she's in her like late teens, early 20s. And he'd be in his like 90s at that point. And so that is his why. And so like having that like factor that really contextualizes the goals makes it so much easier to accomplish. Like, it doesn't make it easier in that like the work doesn't get easier, but your frame of mind and your reference point shifts when you have something that you are actually working towards. And like losing 20 pounds is like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. Great. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Because I want to be 20 pounds lighter. Okay, what does it really do for you? Like, what are you actually looking for here? You want to be able to like hang out and like play with your grandkids. You want to be able to like, you don't want to be sitting in your couch while your grandkids like play in front of you and not having the mobility to like get up and like pick them up or something. Like, or do you want to be able to like continue to seek new experiences? Like, is traveling important to you? Do you want to be able to like experience like a hike up a mountain or something? Or whatever that happens to be,
Cycling
like whatever
trip in Italy.
experiences, totally, whatever those
Yeah,
experiences that you want, that's really the why. It's not just I want to like be lighter or feel like, even like feeling good is a little like esoteric. And
for
it's like
sure.
you need to have like something more than that to like bolster your um like emotional state when it gets hard, because
Yeah,
it will get hard.
I feel like that's the best way. I was trying to think of like how people find their why, because every time you ask someone, they'll give you like a really broad general thing of like, yeah, I want to feel better, I want to be lighter. But a good why is when you feel like and you don't want to do the thing, what is the thing you tell yourself to not quit? Like that one thing is the
Mhm.
actual why.
Totally.
Because if you don't have enough of a good reason when you are feeling down, then yeah, quit. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
so much easier. You're suffering for nothing. Um, but there's always like that one thing that people can, that it's individual to everyone, but that can tell themselves and be like, this is why I'm not going to quit today. And then you just do that over and over. And eventually, like, oh, I think over time, I don't know for you, but it changes over
Oh
time.
yeah.
Sometimes you have to tell yourself slightly different things to be like, okay, I'm not
Mhm.
going to quit today. Sometimes it's just purely out of principle because you said that you were going to do it versus the reason why you started the whole thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like I mean, a big like through line for me, like recently at least, has been just trying to like live the values that I want to exemplify, right? And
Yeah.
so just in terms of like travel and experience and like whatever, so like life situations in like recent history, I wasn't necessarily like in all of the avenues, I wasn't uh living my values. And the type of person that I want to be is over here, and the type of person that I was is over here, and now I'm like getting closer and closer to that person again. And so like that's a really great one as well. It doesn't have to be like for someone else, but as long as you can be like rooted in that, and like you have like a deep understanding of like what are those values of the person that you want to be, right? And that's sometimes tough for a lot of people to like talk about, right? And that's, I mean, counseling is like a great way to like explore that as well.
Yeah.
um but having um having like the ability to just like sit down and like be reflexive, and whether it's through like meditation or mindfulness or just downloading a like worksheet or something of listing your values. I think it's tough for people to just like list what their values are in general, but once you have those, that can be like a really great why. Yeah.
Um, let's dive into that. We're getting out of the realm of fitness, but it's perfect because it's never really
Yeah.
about fitness,
It's
anyways.
never, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
just the
not.
outcome.
Yeah, it's a bench press is a bench press, a squat is a squat. Um, I think. Do you think there's an element of people? Because I've definitely seen that in myself in the earlier days, but eventually you kind of learned a lesson, which
Mhm.
is I don't feel that it is that either I deserve to work towards becoming that person, or I don't think that I have the ability to become that person, which I think that
Mhm.
would be something that would hinder people from taking some form of action towards bettering themselves because they don't think that it's a possibility for them to even change who they are because they think they are who they are because they've been like that their whole life.
Mhm. No, totally. And like the imposter syndrome side of things, and like, yeah, like not feeling deserving. So like I'm a big fan of Joseph Campbell and like the hero's journey,
Yeah.
and the like the processes by which we like manifest different attributes. But one of the like central tenets of his sort of like philosophical teachings, I suppose, is that we do these like we go through these like journeys, and we like grow and we change, and we experience like the death of the hero, the death of the ego, and we have to then come forward as like a new person and take that newness into the world again and integrate ourselves back into society. But part of this is like we're never actually like changing the person that we are. We're just like getting closer and closer to manifesting the true self. And so we're always on this like iterative process of like self discovery rather than changing ourselves. So we're never really like manipulating and changing ourselves in the way that like, oh, I don't want to be like this, I want to be like this. We're pulling ourselves closer to that person that has, we know what our values are if we sit there and think about them. And sometimes it takes a while to think of them, and that's fine. Like it can be like a very
Yeah.
difficult process emotionally. but we're pulling ourselves closer to that true self. And maybe once we reach the true self that we can see, maybe we actually also discover that like, this isn't even the full manifestation. This is what I thought was the full manifestation, but there's actually another self up here. And like my values here are aligned with those, but there's actually like these other values or a depth to those values that I couldn't even see until I got to this point. And so pulling yourself further and deeper down that like journey or that path of self-discovery.
Yeah, well, it's like even deeper. So
it doesn't have to be, no.
Yeah, no. But I do digital detoxes the first week of every month. That's what I take my time to kind of, if you want to say like reflect on values, but just kind of realign, making sure that I'm staying true to myself and how I want to live and how I want to build and how I want to serve. Because it's very easy to let society and life kind of shape you and mold you if you don't really take the time to like pause and think. I found there's also an element of removing layers. Like, as you get older, you kind of add layers of like, I don't want to be judged for this. I can't show up like this. I can't do that because I've tried it in the past and it didn't really work. So I found that as I remove layers and I just allow myself to be more of myself, things just get better. But it's like letting go of the fear of allowing yourself to be more of yourself.
Right.
But as you step more in, you kind of gain more courage as you're like, oh, I did this thing or I changed this thing. And then I'm in the public eye all the time. But as I change things, it's not just the surrounding around me that sees it. It's like thousands of people. And when I change something and people don't say anything, I'm like, oh, I was scared to change that. Well, that was silly. No one even noticed it,
Yeah.
So there's like an allowing yourself of being who you truly are. And not everyone is showing up. Everyone is holding things back. Like you think about how you are inside your house when no one's watching versus when you're out in public.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like you'll never see me like dance or like I'll be goofy from time to time, but like I'm real goofy when I'm at the house with Ivy. There's some stuff that you keep for yourself, but if you are able to be comfortable with who you truly are in anywhere, then I think that's you becoming closer to that version you talked about too.
Yeah, totally. And we definitely like we wear different masks in like different situations as well. Like when I'm like in like a coaching capacity, like obviously like I'm gonna wear like a different mask than
For sure.
than like the mask that I wear like when I'm with my friends. But I think also what you're getting towards is like the value of authenticity. So like having authenticity as a value. And I think most people would agree that like being your authentic self is better than not being your authentic self.
Yeah.
And so like deeply
More
exploring
sustainable.
that. Yeah, totally. Yeah, because you're not constantly like holding yourself back. You're not constantly like reining in. But that's also like a double-edged sword too. Is like because like who is your authentic self? Is your authentic self the self that like reacts immediately to your external surroundings, or is the authentic self the self that like maybe like things happen and you have
More
the time to like
intentional.
reflect? Yeah, exactly. Because I think people get like really confused with that when they talk about like I just want to be more authentic, and that can sometimes lead someone to be more reactive.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
rather than still like, yeah, like you're still like holding back like these like immediate emotional like reactions. Like a reaction isn't your authentic self. It's like how you would act if you thought things through and then act as opposed to react. But yeah, like that can be like a tricky situation for a lot of people as well. And again, yeah, it takes a lot of introspection and a lot of like self-exploration.
Yeah.
But I love it. Fun stuff.
It takes so basically be reactive versus being intentional. Like it does take time to like take a step back. And I think, and just to kind of tie to fitness and nutrition and health, because I've said this before, but if you're able to own more of who you are, and if one of your values is that's one of my values, that you say that you do what you say that you're going to do, most people I think would like that. To be like, oh, if I said I'm going to show up for my partner, for work, or for whatever this thing, then it kind of gets built up in their character. But it seems like nutrition and fitness is that one area that most people struggle with. But I'm sure you agree with me on this. Once people do it in the area of health and fitness, they're like, I'm this person now. They're just like awakened. They're like, oh, wow, I said that I was going to do this and I actually did it and I actually succeeded. And then just kind of unlocks this new this new chapter for them, this new identity, this new character.
Hmm.
And I think that also leads to like them being more intentional in the terms of authenticity.
Yeah, totally.
As
And yeah, I think that's like a really difficult aspect for a lot of people to see, to like recognize, especially if you're someone who's been like living your life in like a way that isn't like particularly healthful, or
Mhm.
you've got all these like limitations based off of health, and like health um, with the caveat of like health that you have control over in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
situation here. And if you're so used to like not being able to do these things, or like not having the capacity, like it's very easy to tell yourself that like you don't need to do these things and you don't want to do these things because it's very different from how you live your life. But once you've like opened yourself out to like curiosity and experience, and like looking at like what the outcomes or the like potential avenues that or doors that open up to you when you have this different body in terms of like fitness transformation, like there are so many more things that are available to you in terms of like what you can experience and like where you can be when you have a body that can interact with the environment around you. Like having like a mobility issue, that like that's really tough for a lot of people, and like some people can't get out of that, some people can, and maybe just like don't have the like cognitive ability to get themselves out of that yet. But being able to have like mobility in that sort of sense, like physical mobility that you actually have control over improving, can make like such a big difference in terms of what you can experience. And if you've never experienced something, like if you've never hiked to the top of a mountain to see a sunrise, you don't know that like you don't
It's
want that.
awesome.
Like it is awesome. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Like sunrise, sunset, like whatever happens to be, like it's pretty sweet. But if you've never been there and you've seen pictures and you're like, yeah, that's pretty okay, cool. Like I guess if I wanted to, I could do that. But until you actually do that, you don't like recognize the like gravity of that, whatever happens to be paddleboarding, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. There's I'm gonna say it's not harsh what I'm gonna say. I'll be honest. Since I got hit on the head, the filter to like say things is like it's gone a little bit. So I'm just gonna say it.
It's a
But
little looser.
yeah, for 100%. Even Ivy told me. But I've shared this on group calls with members. You guys said you get to choose your values, you get to build your belief system, you get to take it on from other people. You can consciously choose to change it. Many years ago, I've chosen to change mine, to have
Mhm.
things that serve me and for what I want to live. And my life is very different than when I first met you, when we met in Vancouver, right? Because I built
Mhm.
all this up until this point. But I wholeheartedly believe, and I say 99.9% a fact, that there's always someone in a worse position than you in the world doing exactly what you want to do or more.
Mhm.
And it's pretty fair to say with the billions of people that are on earth, right?
Mhm.
So even if you have limitations or whatever, as long as you have the somewhat internal desire and you're willing to put a little bit of effort to just build yourself and get some small wins and kind of get there, like it is doable. Because if someone else is doing it in a worse situation, then I think you can do it. But I think you just need to give yourself grace and enough time. Like just remove the timeline of any sorts. Just
Mhm.
care about progress and getting better. Eventually you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this, I can't remember his name. It's like Nick something. He has no arms and no legs,
Oh
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like
And he's a
skydiving
swimmer.
and swimming, and
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
is married. I think he has a family. Like there's, yeah, there's for sure people in a worse position than you doing better than you, and so it's
Yeah.
like, well, if they can do it, I can do it, and nothing special.
Yeah. Dude, exactly. Yeah. And it's such like an interesting space when you have people who have like objectively like less than someone else, and like that's fine. Like different life situations, people get put in different situations all the time, whether it's chosen or not. Um, but it's like what you do with that situation, right? And like, I mean, the Paralympics are like such a great way
Hmm.
to like showcase that. And like, I love watching Paralympics. It's so crazy and like so cool to see like the types of like physical adversity and like physical limitations that a lot of these athletes have overcome. And the end of the day, like it's purely like your mental game, right? It's the same with like being a pro athlete in general, right?
Yeah,
Like
100%.
you need to have like the mental game to get there. Any pro athlete, whether they have like physical limitations or not, doesn't even matter. They're the same people. They're
Yeah,
athletes. It's just they have this one extra layer of, oh, like you're missing a leg. Like, okay, what kind of activities can I do while I'm without one leg? Okay, great. I'm going to do those activities. And that's normal.
Yeah.
You got to do. That's what everyone has to do.
And I think the characteristics of a mindset for an athlete is what would make most, I say the majority of people be really successful in their transformation that they want to accomplish. Like whether it's with us or it's on their own. There's an element of being highly adaptive and having resilience to do the boring work, to do the work when you don't want to do it. How many workouts have you done, Nick, where like, I don't want to do this workout, but
so
you still
many.
did it? Yeah, exactly. It's a part of it. There's no, I don't know, this
last night,
illusion that
really
you're like
did not want to do
excited
my
all the
ride.
time.
Yeah. No, I'm literally like right now, I'm also doing my like foot rehab exercises right now, like under the desk.
Yeah.
And like, I hate doing them, but I'm like, part of my like routine is like, I need to like have to do these rehab exercises for this injury. And like, okay, I just set myself up so that it literally just like pulling a towel under my toes while we're doing this podcast. And that's like part of it is like also like doing the things you don't want to do, but also like figuring out ways that you can get the stuff done while it still like fits into your lifestyle as well, which is a tricky one for a lot of people.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, I feel like in this day and age with phones and social media, people are wasting several hours a day on devices.
I waste several hours a day. Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
Like if you were to eliminate cell phones from everyone's life, magically everyone would have like at least 3 hours extra per
Probably.
day.
Yeah.
Easy 3 hours. Like the time is there. It's just and I get it. That's why I do digital detoxes, because as I progress in the month, I find myself be more and more glued to my phone. And then I get to digital detox. I'm like, whoa, I didn't realize how much I got back into it,
Yeah.
And if you never take breaks from it, like you're sucked in. It's hard to pull yourself out of it.
Dude, it's so crazy. It's also one of the reasons why like I love traveling. Because like you go somewhere and you're just like always like locked into the experience, or at least I am.
Yeah.
Like this isn't for everyone. Like, yeah. But like when I'm there, like I'm like out riding my bike. Like every day I'm like out riding my bike, or I'm like doing a workout or whatever. And then I come back and I still have like work to do, like connecting with like clients, but I'm not just like sitting in between like meetings or whatever. And I'm like, well, I have like 45 minutes where I don't have to do anything. Like I'll just hang out here. It's like, no, like literally all day I'm just like out doing stuff. And then I like get back and I'm like, oh, I should check my phone. Like I should check my phone.
Yeah.
After like 6 hours of like not looking at it. And not having cell service is great. Like I only have service when I'm like staying in like a hotel or an apartment or wherever I am. Like, and that's so sweet to just not be like inundated with like messages all day. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. You ever notice when you go to like coffee shops or you wait in line, like when I'm on digital detox and I'm at a store and I'm waiting in line, I don't have my phone. So I'm just looking around and I can't even make eye contact with anyone. Everyone's looking down on their phone. If someone does look up, they're like, they're just scared. They're like, is there someone not on their phone?
Yeah. I mean, I'm also one of those weirdos who just like talks to people in line. So
yeah. Well, you're a fun guy to be around, man. It's always a good time when you're there. So you make you connect very easily with people.
Yeah. I love that. That's one of my values.
Like,
community and like connection. So yeah, that's an easy one for me though.
Yeah. And also just for people listening too, like Coach Nick is going to be at the Fit Vegan workshop. That's going to take place in Vancouver. This is September 20th to 21st. So all our coaches are going to be there, but that's going to be a good time. Nick was at the Seattle workshop we did last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was also so much fun. Vancouver's going to be so good.
Yeah. It's going to be excited for that. 2 days, a whole weekend with everyone. It's going to be a good, like just big family vibe together with the clients and all of you guys. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be so sweet. And like being in Vancouver too, like, oh.
It's been a while. It's been a minute. So basically since I left Squamish, a year and a half, 2 years, over 2 years, actually, almost 2.5 years since I've been there.
Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, damn. All right, Nick, I want to ask you one last question for the pod.
Yeah, 100%.
For the people that are listening that are thinking of starting their transformation, again, could be with us, could be by themselves. What are some pieces of advice that you would give them to make sure that they're heading in the right direction?
Oh man. I mean, I mean, obviously, like the two things that I said in terms of like how I try and like elicit sustainable growth and change. So like sit down and think about like your process and your outcome goals and like ways that you can essentially like manifest the intentionality to complete your goals. Have a sit down with your why so that you have that sort of like understanding of like, yeah, when stuff gets hard, how are you going to do it? But other than that, like educate yourself to the best that you can, like, especially if you're going to do something on your own, having like knowledge of like how to do things safely so that you're not doing too much all at once. Like I was saying with the gentleman who just like cut 1,000 calories and like whatever, like look at like sustainable growth and change and like really use that to put into perspective the kind of work that you can do. If you have like friends or family, hopefully you have friends or family, communicate what you're doing with them because they're going to be a great resource. Like don't hide your intentions. Like if you're trying to lose weight or something, don't like hide it from your friends. Like let them know, let them support you as well. Allow your community in so that you have more support than just yourself. So that when days are hard, like if your friends know that you're doing this crazy thing, you're trying to lose 40 pounds and you're having a rough day, you can send your friend a text message, be like, I think I'm over it. And your friend will probably tell you, no, you're not, like stick to it. So that's also the role of a coach as well. So maybe your friends, you don't have that sort of capacity. You can getting a coach, whether it's a coach through Fit Vegan or like a coach at like a local gym or something can really help. And then, yeah, I think those are probably like the 4 things that I would say, like community, education, your why, and then having like process and outcome goals, I think would be like probably top 4.
Yeah, those are a good piece of advice. So
Pretty
honestly,
solid.
for the people listening, Coach Nick still has some availabilities if you guys are interested in working with him. So there's a link down below where you can book your free body recomposition consultation call with our team. That's the only way to get into a program, just because we want to make sure that you are healthy enough or in a good place to start the program. Like I said, if you don't have a really strong why, potentially if there's too many, medical reasons or whatever, potentially it might not be the right time, but we want to make sure we serve you as best as we can. So you do when you book your call and you talk to our team, just mention that you want to work with Coach Nick, and he'll gladly work with you, and we'll have you in the
Happy
Fit
to help
Vegan
out.
family.
Yeah. Love building that community.
It's been, you've known me for, like I said, almost 10 years now. For 10 years, like you've seen me through every version of, like throughout the whole period of going through cancer and then building Fit Vegan and kind of getting to the place where we're now. It's been a wild ride looking back.
Oh, 100% it has. Yeah. I mean, the journey isn't over yet.
Oh, it's just
We're
getting
still
started.
going.
I can feel
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
I love it. I'm stoked for your pro contract.
Thank you. Hey, we a Fit Vegan athlete. Gonna make it happen.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
So, Nick, I want to say, man, massive thank you for taking the time to jump on the podcast. For everyone, we're going to have Nick again back on the show probably in a few months from now, because we're going to interview the coaches once a month. But Nick will have his own episodes when he interviews his clients, so be sure to stay tuned for those. Thank you for listening. Put your call down below. And Nick, any last words of wisdom?
Hey, no, I don't think. I think we got all that wisdom covered.
All right, awesome.
Why.
Well, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.